May 22nd, and I'm going to talk today about how chickens can feel pain, but apparently not babies, according to one of the most pro abortion news media outlets out there on the news media. And also, what the hell is Target thinking? I mean, the news came out today about what Target is doing, targeting our young people, and it's unbelievable. It's actually, as the story develops, it gets getting more unreal. Hey everyone, I'm Kristan Hawkins. Welcome to the Pro Life Gen News, Kristan Hawkins Live. I'm going to go over the news from last Friday and today. I've got lots of updates to share with you. So let me go first into, I guess we'll just start with Target because it's nuts. I'm going to show you this. Target partners with Satanist brand to create items for Pride collection. And that's the t-shirt there that says cure transphobia, not trans people. So Target, we all know for a while, has been going off of the deep end with a lot of different things. They fund their employees, travel to have abortions. They sell Plan B, which is an abortifacient. We know that they took down like years ago the women's and men's like identifying markers in sections for clothes. If you've gone there lately to get clothes for kids, it's also really confusing because if you're in the boys section, there'll be like shirts that you're like, I think this is a girl shirt, and it's really confusing for parents. So Target's been going crazy for a while. But then last week a story came out and I saw for myself. I had to go return something in Target. They, for their Pride Month, which by the way, when you like walk into the store, it just like assaults your senses. You know how people always say that people who are Christians like shove Christianity down everyone's throats? Yeah, they're shoving Pride Month down our throats. You walk into Target, I'm there to get my little return, maybe get Starbucks drink, and it's like right there. And they have bathing suits where men can wear girl bathing suits and tuck it in. And it says like wider crotch coverage and tuck in friendly. Okay. So we thought that was bad enough and crazy. But then the story comes out today, this morning. I'm reading this article about this Satanist brand. It's a trans man. So this is a woman who's taken a lot of hormones. Let me show you her picture. This is the designer that they just collabed with on online, and they collabed with the designer. They're selling products from this designer in Target stores. Let me show you her T-shirt again because there's also pins. Satan respects pronouns. Of course, Satan respects pronouns. Satan is the king of deception and confusion, right? Like he wants you to be confused and wants young people to be confused and to hate who they were made by and for. It's unbelievable. At the very minimum, guys, at the very minimum, even if you are like, I don't think I can boycott Target, at the very minimum, parents should be able to say, no more, we're not taking our kids into Target because it's very clear that Target is directly targeting our children and it's absolutely disgusting. Okay. So, and Hawkins County is going to have to make some decisions on our shopping in the future because it's going to be difficult. Okay, going back to a story. This was an old story that I saw last week on social media about chickens. Let's talk about this. So Vox, which is a super abortion for whatever reason. Rosie, what do you have? Gotta get Rosie. She's chewing on something. My puppy's chewing something. This is like Vox is not good. Like just Google Vox and like a pro life stories, and it's terrible. So anyway, so they had this article out a while back. It said we need to consider the suffering of unborn chickens, and so it's this whole article about how unborn chickens are suffering and what they do to male chickens when they know they're not female chickens. And it's actually pretty sad. I still like chicken and eggs, but anyway, this whole article about chickens. But Vox also calls for abortion to be legal in all 9 months for whatever reason. We know scientifically, pro choice and pro life scientists have confirmed that 12 and a half weeks a child can feel immense pain during abortion. We know if you look at any national hospital out there that's doing, spina bifida surgeries with children in utero, they all administer pain medicine to those children, anesthetic. So we know children feel pain in the womb. Pro abortion outlets refuse to admit it because that would humanize the child and kind of make abortion seem a little bad and cruel. But we're okay talking about how we need to consider the suffering of unborn chickens. Crazy. Speaking of crazy environmentalists who aren't usually consistent with applying their logic to human beings, let's talk about PETA. So on Friday, I overnighted a letter to the president of PETA, the People for Ethical Treatment of Animals National Organization, to ask them to actually join us. Friday was Endangered Species Day, and we actually asked them to join the Students for Life and the pro life generation to speak out against the harmful effects of chemical abortion pills, RU46, and what we know are they're doing to our water, polluting our waterways with active metabolites that are harming our aquatic and animal life. This is proven. We just had a new citizen petition sent to the FDA last month on how at least 5 times the FDA has violated the Endangered Species Act because they refused to even investigate this. So we sent a letter to PETA asking them to join us in our effort to protect fish, aquatic life, and animal life on Endangered Species Day. I'm not holding my breath, but I'm really hoping PETA, maybe will step aside and see the hypocrisy in their position and maybe join us. All right. So also on Friday, I'm like exasperated at this point, guys. President Trump said he would reach an abortion deal that the whole country can agree with, which I would love to say that that would be true. I read the abortion polling, every week. It's pretty split. It depends on the pollster, who asked the question, what information you've given the person before you actually ask them the question, because largely Americans aren't informed about what abortion is and how it's committed and how far along in pregnancy it's committed. But I don't even know how he can do this. He also then took credit at the end of last week for like the entire pro-life movement and the reversal of Roe, and that it was all his doing and not the pro-life movement's doing because we're like a bunch of losers or something. It is beyond frustrating what President Trump. If you support President Trump, if you supported President Trump like me in the past, I would encourage you to reach out to President Trump's campaign and just be like, "Hey, this isn't helping. We need to get to President Trump pretty quickly about." About some of the comments he's made, and hopefully get him back on board with supporting the pro-life movement and not like insulting the pro-life movement, which isn't, these the statements he said were neat. I don't want to go into all of them. Like I said, it's exhausting to have to keep track of all this crazy comments, but I really hope he kind of walks some of these comments back and pledges unequivocally to be the pro-life candidate in the 2024 presidential race. That he'll, like, do what he did his first term, appointing only pro-life Supreme Court justices, pro-life leaders and advocates to, crucial cabinet positions like HHS, that fuels FDA, DOJ, because now that the DOJ is being used against us, there's a lot of things we need the president to do, and I'd love to say he is 100% committed to signing into law. One, first agreeing that abortion is a federal issue, because it's a federal, state, and community issue, and then two, agreeing with us that we should see at the very least a federal heartbeat abortion protection act signed into law, if not a life conception act. All right, other story from Friday that I missed. I'm sorry, I was traveling on Thursday. I was up forever. By Friday night came, I passed out. So Friday, the story comes out. Democrats eye a new approach to rein in crisis pregnancy centers. So Democrats are mad because abortion is, a money-making business. And abortionists get mad when pregnancy centers set up shop in the communities and give out free things like diapers and formula and pregnancy tests and STD tests and even STD treatment, because that takes away clients on our doors. That's one less woman they can't build a relationship with. So in California, they've been going after them. They're trying to force pregnancy centers using incremental legislation. So the pro-aborts want to copy what the pro-life movement has done, using incremental legislation to prevent abortions a little by little, which has proved to be very effective, slow but effective. They want to do this to pregnancy centers. So last week, an article came out that said 2 NBC News producers visited a state-funded pregnancy center, because some pregnancy centers in Texas get state funding, because Texas, when it prevented all abortions, the state also gave money to alternatives in the state, which is really cool. Same thing happened in North Carolina. These NBC producers were aghast because the pregnancy center told them that abortion could cause mental illness. It can, because we all know from the Danish studies and the Finnish studies that it definitely increases suicidal ideation. and implied abortions could cause cancer and fertility. Yeah, they also can. It's very clear. So they were really mad. So basically, the California Democrats, they want to basically force pregnancy centers to have to disclose that they're not medical facilities. They want to require pregnancy centers to like have to give out the names and numbers of abortion facilities when people come to their abortion, to their non-abortion center. Thankfully, so far, we have a majority in the court that has said you can't force speech, but that's really not stopping the left from actually introducing and trying to pass this type of First Amendment violation speech. So look for that. That's coming. All right, so we got the chickens coming up. Okay, so DeSantis. I can't make this smaller. I don't know. So Ron DeSantis this week and gave a speech for the Florida Family Policy Council group. John Stenberger, awesome group, gave a speech, and he didn't talk the whole time about abortion, and the media is mad. I don't really care how much time we talked about abortion because I know what he did to restrict abortion. He fired a prosecutor in the Tampa Bay area because the prosecutor said that he or she, I think it was a he, wouldn't uphold the laws that prevents abortion in Florida. So Ron DeSantis fired him. Ron DeSantis has joined the pro-life movement, and he's actually forced the state health department to do some inspections of some really dirty abortion facilities in the state, which just shut down abortion facilities. He signed into law like immediately the Heartbeat Abortion Protection Act. So I don't really care how many like seconds he gave to an abortion in a speech. We all know he's pro-life, and so far he's 100% pro-life, credentials. But the mainstream media, that's not good enough for them because the goal is to have all of us attacking him and have us all attacking all of the candidates at all time. So we hurt ourselves in 2024 entirely. Let's see what this article is. Okay, this article. Ukrainian women living in Poland are having to weigh the risk of going back to a war zone to get an abortion, according to a report of several NGOs. So this is reported Politico. Politico is one of the like biggest, most trusted kind of like news outlets, political news outlets in Washington, D.C. So there's this whole story. First of all, there's this whole conversation about the debt limit, the debt ceiling. By the way, we're giving over $1 million a day to Planned Parenthood. So if Democrats and Republicans want to cut some money out of our spending, since we're so much in debt by trillions and trillions of dollars, just stop giving Planned Parenthood $1 million a day to kill like 1,100 babies a day. But anyway, so we've given Ukraine like $75 billion, and now just to stay free. And there's a whole question about that because Zelensky, there's some not great things about Zelensky. He's shutting down the churches. He shut down freedom of speech, freedom of press. He said some questionable, not great things. So there's been a lot of question about how much money should we be giving Zelensky and the Ukrainian government. Obviously, what Russia's done has been bad. No one's saying that's good, but there's been some questionable things. This is the dangers of foreign policy. A lot of times it's questionable on both sides. But now people are saying we gave money to Ukraine. They're defending themselves. Russia's been, taking back a city this weekend. A lot of Ukrainian women have fled to Poland. Poland, thankfully, because they know the effects of communism, are very pro-life now. So Poland has now come out and, abortion is not available in Poland, but all these Ukrainian women are living in Poland. And so now they can't have abortions. So now they're having to risk going back to Ukraine in the war zone to have their abortions. Seems like an easy thought. Would just not be to kill your baby. It's absolutely unbelievable. This was like getting multiple news headlines today about Ukraine and women having to sneak back into Ukraine to kill their babies. Unbelievable, guys. Completely unbelievable. All right, I have to go. I'm going to head on to Instagram and do an Instagram live there. So probably my last week doing Instagram lives on Instagram because now I'm coming live on YouTube, on Facebook, and Twitter. So I'm going to let the folks on Instagram know this is probably their last week. They're going to have to come over to one of the other streaming channels. But I'm so glad you joined me tonight, and I hope you had some questions answered and got some good information for you all when you're having conversations with friends and family about what's happening in the pro-life movement. Bye.